Good morning, students. I welcome you all for the online session of economics class for the session 2020 and 21. Today we will be going to learn the methods of calculating national income. In this, we will start our method with the product or value added method. As the name is value added method, in this, as I already explained to you that while accounting the national income, we only take the amount of final goods, not the intermediate goods. So here we will calculate the amount of value national calculate the amount of the final goods by deducting the amount of intermediate goods. Let us take an example. In product method, we calculate the aggregate annual value of goods and services produced if a year in the unit of time. How to go about doing this? Do we add up the value of all goods and services produced by all the firms in an economy? But I think I had given to you the answer of that already in the beginning, that we not add the cost of all the goods and services produced by the firm. We only calculate the cost of goods and services which are final goods. Let us suppose that there are only two kinds of producers in the economy. They are the wheat producer or the farmers, and the bread makers or the bakers. The wheat producers grow wheat and they do not need any input other than human labor. They sell a part of the wheat to the bakers. The bakers do not need any other raw material beside wheat to produce bread. Let us suppose that in a year the total value of wheat the farmers have produced is rupees 100. Out of this they have sold rupees 50 worth of wheat to the bakers. The bakers have used this amount of wheat completely during the year and have produced rupees 200 worth of bread. What is the value of total production in the economy? If we follow the simple way of aggregating the value of production of the sectors, we would add rupees 200 value of production of the bakers to rupees 100 value of production of farmers. The result will be rupees 300. But out of this 300, already the amount of 100 is already added twice. A little reflection will tell us that the value of aggregate production is not rupees 300. The farmers have produced rupees 100 worth of wheat, for which it did not need assistance of any input. Therefore, the entire rupees 100 is rightfully the contribution of the farmers. But same is not true for the bakers. The bakers had to buy rupees 50 worth of wheat to produce their bread. Thus, the rupees 200 worth of bread that they have produced is not entirely their own contribution. To calculate the net contribution of the bakers, we need to subtract the value of the wheat that they have brought from the farmers. If we do not do this, we shall commit the mistake of double counting. This is because rupees 50 worth of wheat will be counted twice. First, it will be counted as part of the output produced by the farmers. Second time, it will be counted as the imputed value of wheat in the bread produced by the bakers. Therefore, the net contribution made by the baker is 200 minus 50, that is 150. So the actual amount which is to the baker is rupees 150. As aggregate value of goods produced by the simple economy is rupees 100, net contribution by the farmer plus rupees 150 net contribution by the bakers equals to rupees 250. The term that is used to denote the net contribution made by a firm is called its value added. We have seen that the raw material that a firm buys from another firm, which are completely used up in the process of production, are called intermediate goods. Therefore, the value added of a firm is value of the production of the firm, value of the intermediate goods used by the firm. The value added of a firm is distributed among its four factors of production, namely labor, capital, entrepreneurship, and land. Therefore, wages, interest, profit, and rent paid out by the firm must add up to the value added to the firm. Value is a flow variable. We can represent the example given above in terms of table 2.1. Total production, that is 100, and to the baker it costs 200. Intermediate goods used, for the farmer it will be 0 because they had not used any intermediate goods, but baker had used intermediate goods which was costing rupees 50. Value added equals to farmer, for that whole contribution will be 100. For the baker it will be actually not 200, it will be actually 150, because in that 50 rupees was of the intermediate goods which was costed to farmer. Here all the variables are expressed in terms of money. We can think of the market prices of the goods being used to evaluate different variables listed here. and we can introduce more players in the chain of production in the example and make it more realistic and complicated. For example, the farmer may be using fertilizers or pesticides to produce wheat. The value of this input will have to be deducted from the value of output of wheat. Or the bakers may, by selling the bread to a restaurant whose value added will have to be calculated by subtracting the value of intermediate goods, bread in this case. We have already introduced the concept of depreciation, which is also known as consumption of fixed capital. Since the capital which is used to carry out production undergoes wear and tear, the producer has to undertake replacement investment to keep the value of capital constant. The replacement investment is same as depreciation of capital. If we include depreciation in value added, then the measure of value added that we obtain is called gross value added. If we deduct the value of depreciation from gross value added, we obtain net value added. So I think the gross value and the net value added method is also clear to you people. For example, let us say a firm produces rupees 100 worth of goods per year. Rupees 20 is the value of intermediate goods used by it during the year, and rupees 10 is the value of capital consumption. The gross value added to the firm will be rupees 100 minus 20, that is 80 per year. The net value added will be 100 minus 20, that is minus 10, that is 70 per year, because depreciation value will be deducted. So this was a product method, or you can say the value added method. Next class we will be learning about the expenditure method.